So, after the Philly garbage show, we were hungry.
As usual.
We were looking for some food, and I went into my phone and put in restaurants near me, open now, and I found a Greek place.
I was like, oh, I like Greek food.
I like Greek food too, so we went there, but there was some issue with the GPS.
They kept running us around in loops that you couldn't get out of.
And it was so frustrating that I nearly gave up and said, let's go find somewhere else to eat. And then we went with our instinct and didn't follow the GPS.
Right, just drove where we thought it might be, and that rerouted finally and was able to get us there.
And we got to this place, and what was it called?
Started with a K, I think.
Costas.
Yeah, that's it.
Costas. Yep. And, this is a funny story.
Yeah, so we go in there and sat down and looked at the menus and placed our order, and the food came out then, and it was really good. The food was really excellent. And while we were eating...
Wait, first let's say what...
I
had moussaka, a delicious vegetarian Greek thing.
And I got those chicken skewers. I forget what they're called, but is there a name for them?
I think they were just chicken,
skewers.
kebabs.
Oh, and it comes with a Greek salad, which
yeah,
I always
the Greek salad
love.
was good.
Yeah.
And I give him my olives because I don't like olives.
I do. So while we were eating, this guy comes out, and I guess
he's friendly guy.
He's really friendly, and he worked there, and he got down, on our level. He didn't have a chair there because there wasn't any around, and he started talking to us. And we mentioned that we were in town for the garbage gig, and we're going to Atlantic City tomorrow for another one. And he was obviously interested in music, and one of the things that he mentioned was that this place that we were at used to be a venue. And we were like, what was it called? And he said it was the M Room. And I'm like, oh my God, I know the M Room. I know you too. I recognize that guy. I'm like, I know you. I was here.
So you took little Logan, what was he, 9 years old?
Logan wasn't there.
No, I thought you took Logan to the M Room to see Kalola.
No, we saw Kalola in New Jersey at a record store.
Oh, okay.
But Kalola did play at the M Room, and also our friends Juliana and Leon from Silver, which they're called now, used to be from Me Talk Pretty, whose shirt I'm wearing, played there at the M Room.
Strangers.
And I told this guy, I forget his name now, but I told him this story about how years ago they had played here, and we were sitting at the bar hanging out after the show, and Juliana was hungry, and he said that he will make her a Greek salad, and he went back and did that and gave her this really great salad, and that was the guy. We ended up in the same place just by random coincidence. Had no idea that it was the M Room. I didn't recognize it.
How strange that the restaurant used to be the M Room.
Yeah, that's funny. And he explained that it was his father-in-law, right, that owned the place and was there since 1971. And I guess they recently decided to not have a venue there anymore, just to brand it as a restaurant or whatever. But what a strange coincidence, and it was that same guy. I totally remember
He was really friendly, and I was playing him videos on my phone of Silver and Blondie.
And their video.
We were telling him the story about how in July 2013, Silver filmed their music video right in our front yard here.
Part of it.
And they were smashing TVs and
me and Logan were...
12-year-old Logan was making a fire.
We were throwing gasoline and acetone on this fire that was part of the video.
If you'd like to see the video on YouTube, it's called In My Head by Silver with a C.
And the scenes of the outdoors and the gray stone driveway and the green grass and the rain shower that we had that just happened to come up are all on our property here, and the burning of the televisions. That was here. So they came and did that in one day, and then they had to go home. But
Bumblefoot from Guns N' Roses in there. He wasn't really here. That's That's him CGI.
And then they did some parts of the video in New York City in some sort of a studio. But that was a very interesting and entertaining experience to have that video done here. Oh, and you can see my 1952 Ford 8N tractor in there.
And Juliana also used your sledgehammer.
Oh yeah, she borrowed me a sledgehammer to destroy those televisions.
Authentic Barry L. Kramer props.
Yep.
And so, back to our concert adventure. After we had the Greek food, I had booked an Air BnB at an incredibly cheap price of $27.
In Center City, Philadelphia.
It was only 10 minutes from the venue. And I wasn't expecting all that much in terms of accommodations for that price, but I could have never expected what came.
That kind of craziness.
What came.
So we had the, it was along West Girard Avenue around 28th Street or 27th Street, something like that. And I had a lot of luggage in the car that we needed to take out, so I wanted to find a place to pull over and park. There was nothing. There were like no fire hydrants, no parking zones, no nothing. It was just solid packed cars for block after block after block. So I double parked the car and I put in the key code to get in the place and unloaded all of this luggage out of there and was taking this luggage up to the, and of course we're on the top floor and I'm carrying
in a walk up
in these really narrow staircases.
And it's so squeaky and rickety and
and
keep in mind we don't know if there were other guests staying there at the time, so we're trying to be really quiet. And
right, so I'm hauling all this luggage up while she's outside in the car with the car double parked. And when I came back out, it was like this panic because this stupid trolley had come by and was stuck behind my car.
I was sitting in the car and all of a sudden I felt like my heart jumped out of my chest because I hear this trolley behind me honking. And at 3
in the middle of the night,
3 in the morning.
It was like 3:15 in the morning.
And I immediately jumped out of the car, was motioning to them to say that Barry was inside the building and would come out. And I didn't have the key. I don't have a driver's license. I couldn't move the car.
The key was in the ignition, but didn't.
Yeah, but I couldn't move the car. So I was trying to tell them that he would be a few minutes, and they're saying, why are you double parked here? There are trolleys around. And I said, well, I'm sorry, we're not from the area.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, how could we expect that there would be trolleys running around at 3 in the morning? And it really, the Airbnb people should have disclosed this, of course.
So finally I came out and moved the car, and that was
You came out after about 6 minutes.
End of that, and parked the car, and I wasn't too far away. It was a few 3 or 4 blocks, I guess, on some side street. I just lucked out and found a space. It was so small, that's why nobody could get in it. But I managed to back in it. And came back to the room, and then wanted to get some ice water and make a cocktail, and go into the refrigerator, or the freezer, and I open the freezer up, and it's completely empty. There's no ice, there's no ice trays, there's no nothing in the freezer. There was absolutely nothing in the freezer. So I had to walk back to the car and get my cooler, because I had a cooler full of ice, so I went and got that, and then we had ice for
So you had to walk another 6 blocks in the
I had to do another round
because
trip.
they didn't have a single ice cube.
Yeah, and there was some bum there that was rummaging through trash cans and peeing up against the wall in an alley back there. But I did get the cooler, and that was okay.
And the room, it didn't look very nice. It was a pretty crappy looking place.
There was some kind of thing jutting out of the wall that looks like that there was like some kind of plaster and stuff that was jammed in to try to cover some hole that was like sticking way out, and then they painted over it.
Do you remember what you said the place looked like?
No.
The Chelsea Hotel.
Oh yeah, right, exactly.
And then I said it reminded me of the St. Mark's.
That's so funny.
Where you can't get a smaller room than that. And anyhow,
there was just that one little tiny hook for us to hang our clothes
Yeah, there's
on.
only one hook.
Yep.
to hang all those clothes on. And
Oh, and I couldn't find the light switch in the kitchen, so I was feeling around for this light switch, and I saw a switch, and I turned the switch on, and it wasn't the light. It was, I thought it might have been a light above the sink, but it was the stupid garbage disposal. So I quickly shut the switch off, and my hand ran into a thing where they had a, right underneath that switch was a coffee grinder with the top missing, so it was just the blade. So I jammed my hand down in these sharp blades after quickly turning that switch off. It was crazy.
so, the stuff that we were talking about so far, it's not a big, aside from the tram problem, it's not a huge deal for $27.
Right.
But then there was more to come. So, so then it's about, we're trying to settle down, and it gets to be about 5 a.m., 4:45 a.m.
Something like that.
And
We had to go.
and the TP goes
I had
missing.
to go use the bathroom, so I look in there, and there's just a tiny bit of toilet paper on the roll, no spare rolls, no nothing, and I'm thinking there's probably other people staying here, so I got out.
Because
We carry a extra spare roll always in the suitcase, so we didn't have an issue.
in case of a
But the
bathroom
oth-
emergency.
But the other guests might have a problem, so I also always carry a box of tissues around. There was no paper products there, no paper towels, no tissues, no toilet paper, and I put about a dozen tissues in there and wrote a little note. Compliments of a
Prepared.
thoughtful, well-prepared guest, and put it in there in case anybody else had an emergency. There's no paper.
So then I texted the
It
host,
was unbelievable.
who wasn't there, but I texted him at 5 in the morning, saying, "Sorry to disturb you, but there's no toilet paper here. Do you know where there's any other toilet paper?" And I told him how we left out the note with the tissues for the other guests in case of a bathroom emergency. And he replied right away and said there was some in the other bathroom in the house, but there was only one in there. There was only one.
That was on the first floor, which
yeah.
we didn't even know at the time there was a first
There
floor.
was only one toilet paper in there.
One
and then,
roll and an almost empty roll hanging up.
and
So
then
we
he-
stole the extra roll and put it on the second
He
floor.
said they would be restocked in the morning, and they weren't. So anyhow, the real frustrating thing is, I had originally booked this room, not only for the price, but because the checkout time said flexible, and I knew we'd be having a really late night. And so then I tried to clarify this a couple of days before the booking. Of course, they don't get back to me
Yeah,
until
they ignored you.
the day of we get there, where there's copy and paste messages, and then tell me, with all their rules, and then they tell me checkout's actually 11 a.m. And I said to them, is there any way we could have a later checkout? It said flexible on your page, and he said 11 a.m. He
And
wasn't.
they're like, no.
So I was like, okay, we have to deal with it. Well, after this toilet paper incident, you said to me, maybe you should ask again about late checkout. So I said, is there anything you could do, any exceptions? He didn't want to budge. And then I said, one of the main reasons I booked is because it said on your advertisement that it was flexible, and also almost every other Airbnb host I've ever stayed with could at least extend us a half hour or an hour. So then he...
You know what the flexible part was? That you could check out earlier, I guess. That must be what it was flexible. We could have left at 7 in the morning if we wanted to.
Then he agreed that we could leave at noon.
Yeah, after you pointed out that it shouldn't take 4 hours to make up the room.
That's what I said, because on his page it said that check-in for new guests was at 3 p.m. And I said, is it really going to take your cleaning people 4 hours to make up our tiny room? It's really just somebody here who is making rules for the sake of rules, like a school teacher with a broom up their ass. And so anyhow, there's no customer service here. And so then we're rushing out early in the day. We rush out to get out of there
And somebody was knocking on the door right while I was carrying luggage downstairs.
at noon. And then we're rushing out of there. Of course, there's nobody else coming in.
And there was still no toilet paper.
Yeah. and we were hanging around for a little bit, and then we were waiting. We were waiting to hear from our friend Christina because she was going to meet us for lunch. It's our friend Christina from Germany, and but we didn't know exactly what time we were going to meet her yet. Now on the Airbnb page, it said that we could leave our luggage in the place
in the living room
until 1 p.m. Now we're waiting around. Nobody's there. And, of course, the way we enter this place is through a keypad. And we didn't know when our particular code would expire. So we didn't feel... we were starving at this point. And we didn't feel comfortable just leaving our stuff there when the key code could expire.
Right, there was lots of restaurants on that block, but we couldn't both go together to go to one of them.
And we didn't want to do takeout. We were on a vacation. We want to go out together to eat.
Right, and I didn't want to put the luggage in the car because there wasn't such a nice area there.
So then I text that guy, Adam, again, and I explained the situation. I said, is there any way we could just leave our bags here for a short while later just to get something to eat? And he's like, as the rules state, we kindly ask that all luggage be removed by 1 p.m.
To another no.
So it's just so ridiculous. And then when we left the place, we saw the key code hadn't expired. So we could have really left there and been fine, but we wouldn't have known. So let's just say that that guy won't be getting a very nice review from me. Probably the worst Airbnb experience we'll ever have, and
no doubt.
In the future, I'm
don't book anything unless they let us leave later.
Yes, and
we can't be coming in, going to bed at 6 o'clock in the morning and getting up at like 10.
I'm certainly willing to pay some more money not to have an experience like that again, and it was just a bad scene. And I just can't believe how even when you reach out, somebody was just, no, no, no. I can't stand these people where the first answer is always no.
And for no good reason.
And for no reason.
Because there wasn't anybody else there except for there was one, we think there was one other guest because we heard someone taking a shower after the cleaning guys left. There was 2 cleaning guys came in. One was vacuuming and one was doing laundry.
I don't know.
It was like a whirlwind.
I don't know if you want to say, you were talking to me about what would people have done if they were in the bathroom and had a toilet paper emergency, and then you were saying what you imagined they would have done.
They'd have to get in the bathtub and wash off, I guess. But the crazy thing is, the bathroom was completely stocked with all these products.
Yeah.
There was all 6 or 7 different kinds of toothpaste.
There was toothpaste, there was a first aid kit, there was a hair dryer.
A fire extinguisher, a box of tampons.
There was shaving cream. It was a place run by men, but they had tampons.
And
but they
tons and tons of products and selection of products and no toilet paper.
And they had everything, all those products except lotion.
And no tissues and no toilet paper.
Not a single bottle of lotion. But they had face scrubbing stuff.
Oh yeah, all kinds of stuff. We took pictures of it. Do a room review.
Yeah, I want to do what in the style of William Vader.